shotglassdigital.com.
This is what you can look forward to on this epic episode 97 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
I love you.
I don't know about tearjerker, but there was a hug.
I know.
The Empire Strikes Back is basically about car trouble.
It's like a bowling trophy, but Oppo's on the top. It's pretty awesome.
It's a major award. I cannot wait for that Hondo episode.
How much are they paying you?
And in Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
Nothing will stand in our way.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Listen.
A billion years in the making.
Welcome to Neverland.
What do you know?
You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll kiss $3 goodbye.
Oh, where to start? Where to start? So much going on. So much. Hey, Skywalkers, and thank you so much for coming back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
Welcome to any and all new Skywalkers out there. We are the family-friendly Star Wars Disney podcast that brings you entertaining stories from creators and fans. This is Richard, and please, everyone, say hello to my ever-excitable sweetie wife, Sarah, who's just very, very excited now.
That's me from hearing that music from trailer number 3, or I guess, are we calling this the official trailer of The Force Awakens?
This is the official Force Awakens trailer.
Okay.
Not teaser 1, 2, or 3. This is the official.
Okay, so yeah, we just kind of were listening, watching over and over again. I was trying to analyze the music more, and wow. This is so exciting. But before we get into all that, I want to thank everyone for coming by and listening and supporting the show throughout all of social media. Now, if you're listening to us now, you are officially a Skywalker. So tweet at us. We love it when you tweet at us during the show, responding to things, saying that you're listening. We are at SkywalkingPod on Twitter. And then if you do that, you're officially a Tweetwalker.
Yeah, you are. Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on October 20th, 2015.
Ooh, that's one day before the Back to the Future 2 date.
Yes, and one day before Carrie Fisher's birthday.
Oh, it's the same date?
It is the same date?
Well, not the same date, but the same star date, October 21st.
Yes. Well, you know what? She will be 50. Oh, you know what? I don't want to say a woman's age.
Okay,
So-
that's probably a good idea.
Yes. And just in case she's listening, which I'm sure she is. All right, everyone sit down because we got a lot to tell you about on this week's show. We're going to talk with our good friends over at Brews and Blasters about their free-range Star Wars discussion podcast, as well as The Lost Commanders,
which is the first episode of Star Wars Rebels Season 2.
Yes, it is. And we're going to talk about the trailer. Now, we recorded this a few days before the trailer came out, so we kind of speculate.
Oh,
which is
yes.
a lot of fun now to go back and listen to.
That's right. And we're also going to speak with George Shaw. He is the writer and composer of the very popular Star Wars musical. And he's back to tell us about his crowdfunding campaign for the next project, which is The Empire's New Groove. So he's going to do the Star Wars musical, but for Empire Strikes Back.
And continuing with our Halloween theme this month, we're going to talk with our good friend. We have a lot of good friends, don't we?
Yeah.
Our good friend Russell Flores, the author of Seen, Unseen Disneyland, about what we are not seeing at Disneyland's Tower of Terror attraction.
That's right, because it's Halloween, so we have to bring up all the Halloween things. We love Halloween.
Plus, we have shout-outs, our Skywalker of the Week, and so much more.
As always.
Now, before we get into our giant, spectacular episode, let's tell everyone about where we are on the Trick or Treat Spooktacular podcast crossover contest.
You said it all.
I'm kind of out of breath on that one.
I know. Well, everyone, today is the last day to get in your treats. So, just as a reminder, every podcast that we trick-or-treated to has now aired their segment and their episode. So all the clues are out there. Once again, as a reminder, those podcasts are our show from last week.
Yeah, we also went trick-or-treating at the Muppet Cast.
Coffee with Kenobi.
Assembly of Geeks.
Window to the Magic.
That was very Paul Berry-esque.
Thank you.
and Techno Retro Dads.
Yes, so I have compiled all the links to those particular episodes in one blog post on skywalkingthroughneverland.com along with the giveaway tab. So if you want to go there for all the information, that's perfect. You can listen for all your clues and enter the contest right there on that blog post. So, and also on that post is a link to our Google Hangout Halloween party, which will be happening on October 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific.
And that's a Thursday.
That's this Thursday. That's
Thursday.
Right. We are very excited to see you there and see what you come up with for your headgear.
Yeah, and let's tell everyone about this big giant prize bag that's sitting right over here.
That's right. Yes, so if you enter to win, if you find all your treats on these podcast episodes, then you will be entered to win. And it's this Sony Pictures animation bag full. It's like a canvas bag. It's really big, and it's full of all kinds of prizes, including a Star Wars Rebels Season 1 Blu-ray.
And we have the Art of Hotel Transylvania 2 book.
Oh, it's a beautiful book, along with a bunch of other swag. There may be some things from Star Wars Reads Day. You'll definitely have a few Skywalking Through Neverland buttons in there, perhaps a BB-8 ears button.
But as Ryan Seacrest says, you gotta be in it to win it.
Absolutely. Now, a few of you have entered already. Thank you for listening. I know Bryn McKinnon on Twitter, @Brynane, she was tweeting that she had lots of fun, and she was listening to the last episode for her clue with a pencil in hand.
Now, once again, our clue, our treat to you, was the number 2.
Oh, well, we're giving it to you for free.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll give it to him last week, too.
That's right.
So he'll put in all of the clues, and then if you can mix and match it so it makes sense to a Star Wars Disney fan, and once you get all the clues, you'll begin to see a pattern.
Yes, and give us your best guess. It's very subjective, but we think you'll get it.
Yeah. If you are a Star Wars or Disney fan, it'll be like one of those posters we used to see in the 90s.
The Magic Eye posters.
The Magic Eye poster, yes.
Yep.
Where, truth be told, I didn't have a magic eye because I couldn't see
you
squat.
could never see it?
No, I couldn't ever see.
Oh, how
I thought
sad.
everyone was playing a joke on me.
No.
So everyone, please, we are so looking forward to having you at our Google Hangout on the 22nd of October at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And now, before we get into our big episode, let's tell everyone about one more thing about our upcoming 100th episode of Skywalking Through Neverland.
That's right. So, this is episode 97, so the 100th episode is coming up, and we want your fan moments.
Now, it could be a personal moment of yours within Star Wars, Disney, Harry Potter, some Muppets.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything and anything except for sports.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, got no room here. So
No?
No, we've been getting some really, really good answers too.
Yeah, and this is not from our podcast. We want to clarify that this is your own fan moment from your life. It could be when you were 5 years old and first saw a movie that changed your life. It could be
Meeting an icon.
Exactly, meeting an icon.
Going to a convention or playing with your friends in the backyard.
Or writing some fan fiction, who knows?
Yeah. And once again, I've just been bowled over by the number of responses we've gotten.
We've gotten some really cool stories.
The fun personal stories.
Yeah. Some really good stories. And we're asking you to keep it to a minute or less. And even within a minute, we've gotten some great stories. I'm so excited to share with you guys.
So if you can send those in by November the 1st, that would be fantastic because it'll take some time to compile all of these moments and put them into one super show.
And just as a reminder, you can use your phone, take a voice memo, and then once you save that voice memo, you can just simply email that to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
So get sharing. Now, that's a perfect segue into things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Now, what is it that we want to share with all the Skywalkers today?
Could it be something that we did last night?
Yes, On October 19th, Sarah and I went down to downtown Disney for the Force Awakens trailer.
Yeah, we decided that we were in LA and there was 2 places we could have gone.
Yeah,
we could have
downtown
gone
Disney here in Anaheim, or the El Capitan Theater up there in Hollywood,
at 5:30 p.m.
which was not going to happen.
No, it's a drive, you guys. It's a drive.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, to be honest, we were kind of should we not?
Yeah,
should
we weren't sure. And then my friend Jessica Mucko shared a picture that they were actually putting a screen up in downtown Disney specifically for The Force Awakens, and that's what changed our minds.
Yeah. So thank you, Jessica. Great friend of the show. And yeah, she was one who pulled us down there, and I'm so glad she and her husband Scott did. Because it was just a fantastic time, and I couldn't even begin to tell you how many people were there.
Oh yeah, yeah. We met lots. Well, my parents came. They're in town.
Our ghost host Dave Scale did.
That's right. We had Kaya and Michelle, and Kaya is the 4-year-old who was on our show a couple episodes ago, who loves Star Wars.
With an emphasis on Kylo Ren, and we are keeping an eye on her for that. And our cosplaying Paralysis family friends.
Yeah, they do the Star Wars Rebels characters.
Now, they weren't the only ones there. They were just hundreds and hundreds.
Yes.
I tried to get some pictures of the big crowd, and it just kept going past the Lego store.
Right, and also Georgia Peach was there.
Oh, yeah, a good friend who just transplanted herself down here to Anaheim. So this was a fantastic time, and it was going to be shown at, the halftime?
Halftime of the Monday Night Football
game.
Yes.
Where the teams playing were one team and the other team.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Not a clue.
Because they weren't on that particular screen. They were not showing the game. Actually, ESPN Zone was to the right of where we were. And so you could tell the football fans, because they all migrated to the right side of all the group of people, and we were on the left. And yeah, because you could actually watch the game from outside of ESPN Zone.
But what I do understand about football is that they kept saying in a minute and a half of the game, they're going to show the trailer. Now,
right.
I know a football, a minute and a half could take all night long.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
So
I 4 minutes left in a quarter. Yeah, that could be half an hour.
Right. So we do have the lead up on our Facebook page by now. I recorded the build up to the trailer and everyone's reactions and waving of lightsabers.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun when the crowd started to get annoyed, like, oh, halftime started. What's going on? Why aren't they playing it? But we were waiting for the commercial to actually get there.
It was almost like New Year's Eve.
You know what? It kind of was. And unfortunately, we were right by the speakers because we were pretty much right up front. And the DJ was playing music that really shouldn't have been playing.
Unless you are very familiar with the club scene, which we are not.
Yeah.
The music there was just not the Star Wars audience.
Yeah.
And I kept looking around going, who here is reacting to any of this music?
Right.
Do you not know your crowd? Play Star Wars music. Play some John Williams. Just play a medley of John Williams.
Yeah, but finally, they actually, about 5 minutes before the actual trailer played, he started playing John Williams Star Wars music. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, Cantina theme,
but on the
Imperial March.
And then on the ESPN Zone screens,
right,
when they cut to the announcers and you could see the Star Wars logo behind them, you knew what was coming.
Yeah.
So it was like that ball drop at Times Square on New Year's Eve. Everyone just counted down, and then there it was playing up on the big screen.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic.
And they played it twice in a row, thank goodness. Because you really have to with a group of excitable Star Wars fans.
Well, just like at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, the first time, you're not taking anything in.
No, not at all. Especially this trailer was so, I mean, you had picture after picture after picture. And yeah, you had like your 3 stories that they were kind of talking about, but seeing it for the first time, and it's really loud and everyone's excited. Yeah, it was hard to take in.
And whereas the first teaser trailer just had music.
Right.
Second teaser trailer had Luke's voiceover, and this one had actual dialogue.
A lot of it, yeah.
Most of it we couldn't understand until this morning when we watched the trailer again on our computer, because once again the audio system was just so loud.
Yeah, we were really standing a little too close, but we were very excited.
Yeah, very, very excited. Now, what did you think about the trailer?
Okay, so we're going to get into this. Now, watching it over and over, you kind of realize that they're sharing 3 stories. You have Rey, you have Finn, and you have Kylo Ren. and then you talk about the Force when Harrison Ford, comes in.
Yeah, this is more of a personal story more than an action. We haven't seen it yet, and there's going to be a ton of action. But
Oh, you think the movie's going to be a personal?
Yeah, I get a feeling that this is going to be more of a personal story.
Right. It sounds like someone's journey to using the Force, really.
Yeah, because the trailer really focused on Finn's story and Rey's story and what Kylo Ren will be doing.
Right.
So with all that in mind, it was still very action-packed. And the scene that keeps running through my head is the Millennium Falcon being chased by the TIE fighters going through the Star Destroyer. Because we had never seen the Millennium Falcon in a chase so close to a planet's surface. Always been in outer space.
Okay.
So this was the first time, and the X-Wings hovering and skimming above the water surface, because we'd never seen stuff like that before.
Plus, we also see the Millennium Falcon in hyperspace, but not from the cockpit.
Well, it starts on the hyperspace, the star stretch lines, and then it dissolves into the purplish lightspeed tunnel.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And one interesting thing, I was listening to a podcast a while ago, and they mentioned that in the prequel trilogy, there is no going to hyperspace.
And I was at a press junket back in, I want to say, 2000, where John Knoll was there, and someone asked him that question. John Knoll, who did the effects for the prequels, and how come we don't see that? And his answer was, well, George felt like we'd already seen it before, so we didn't want to do it again.
No, George, bring it around full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like such a big part of the original trilogy, and I didn't realize that until someone mentioned that. It's like, no, we really don't see that hyperspace thing going on. So
I'm glad they brought it back.
Yeah.
And now the trailer begins with a voice who we don't know.
Who is that?
Yeah, saying,
"Who are you?"
And then Rey says,
"I'm no one."
So this is very, very interesting because this is like really the beginning of Rey's story. She doesn't know her purpose or her lot in life, not until she meets Finn. And get to see his story. And if someone had told you 2 years ago that this story was going to be focused around a rogue stormtrooper, it would have said, all right, what else you got? That's a rogue stormtrooper. But it comes together and like, wow, all these soldiers really do have stories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we can't wait to see what his story is because in the trailer he does say,
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
Yeah, so, it's interesting because we've always seen stormtroopers as faceless masses. It never singled one out.
And they always had one thing to fight for. Now, Finn, he's got nothing to fight for.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting.
Yeah, and, I don't know when we want to get into the music. Well, let's talk about Kylo Ren then, because that was the next story.
Now, Kylo Ren, he's picking up where Darth Vader left off.
I will finish what you started.
Now, what does that mean? It means, is he going after Luke?
Yeah, because Darth Vader, he was kind of the right-hand man of the Emperor. So, what was his...
Well, we don't know what he knew about Darth Vader. He could just know that Darth Vader was this horrific figure that you see him coming and you don't have much time left.
Right.
I don't know if he just thought, okay, Darth Vader wanted to become the next Sith Lord.
Right. Is it the lore of the Sith?
He can go in that direction. Or he could know about Vader trying to bring Luke to the dark side of the Force, and maybe he could try to go and find Luke and bring him to the dark side of the Force.
Now, I did just read something in Aftermath. I'm about 40% through, and I just read this part.
Hold on. Is this a spoiler?
Well, if you've read Aftermath, it's a spoiler if you haven't read Aftermath.
Okay, hold on. Let's alert everybody first.
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Attention, Skywalkers. Spoilers ahead.
Warning.
Spoilers ahead.
All right, now everyone has been warned. Go ahead.
Okay, so in Aftermath, 40% through. There are the meeting of the remains of the Empire, and they're trying to figure out what they should do. Should they fight back? Should they go into hiding? What they should do. And one of the Imperial people says maybe they should go to the Outer Rim or further, because that's where the Emperor and Darth Vader was searching for the beginning of the Sith, like where his power comes from. So I don't know if that's what Kylo Ren is going to be searching for.
So this could all lead back to Tatooine.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, I guess I would think beyond even Tatooine or the Outer Rim, you know. But that's what they said in Aftermath. It was interesting that I just read that last night.
So is there an outer rim?
Yeah, like beyond the galaxy is where the Sith power supposedly comes from, according to this book.
Well, I'm glad it's ambiguous then. We don't really know just yet.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of that.
Now, did you like Kylo Ren's voice?
I hadn't really thought about it. But now that I think about it, it seems just a tiny bit disjointed. But I'm sure while watching the movie, we'll get used to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is a temp track.
Oh, okay.
Just because it sounds like they just slowed it down the way they would in a horror movie when someone's trying to disguise their voice over the phone.
Oh, no.
Nothing will stand in our way.
Now, do you think that maybe Kylo Ren is trying to emulate the Darth Vader voice?
Well, that's what I've heard.
Really? I thought maybe, I don't know if he saw a recording and tried to modify his mask, that the decoder would almost sound like Darth Vader.
Right.
And maybe through a hologram, that's as close as he could get.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. And one other exciting thing that while looking through the trailer once again, there's a shot here of a hooded figure touching R2's head.
Right.
What if that is Kylo Ren? And I say that because I know this figure here is wearing a white sleeve and Kylo Ren he's got a dark robe. But what if Kylo Ren had found all the pieces to Darth Vader and took all the mechanical parts and attached them to his own body? So like seeing how warped this character could be, maybe he severed his own arm and put Darth Vader's arm on him. What if Kylo Ren had found all these pieces maybe on Endor, which is where he probably got the helmet? It all makes sense.
Right.
If he found the helmet, he would have found more pieces.
Yeah.
That what if he severed parts of his legs and his arms and attached Darth Vader's? Because he wants to become Darth Vader. He's following in Darth Vader's footsteps. What better way than to actually have his feet
that's creepy.
attached to your legs?
Yeah, that's creepy.
It is. But you know what? Chew on that for a while, would you?
Okay.
Now, what about Poe? We didn't get too much of Poe.
No, we didn't.
But if you read Shattered Empire, you will know his backstory.
Oh, okay, don't tell me now.
Okay, all right. You'll know his backstory up until a point.
Okay, I'm catching up with Poe.
All right, now I know you're dying to talk about the music, so let's talk about the music.
Okay, well, all right, so I am super excited, and I'm wondering now, is the music portraying kind of the plot of the movie? You start very simply with a harp and a piano. And from there, you hear these 4 chords. And they keep building with different instruments being added until finally you get where those 4 chords are leading to, which is Han Solo and the Princess theme, which makes me super excited.
Now, it wasn't just Han and Leia's theme. There was a bed of music behind that. I'm sure I'm not saying that musically, but it was really it was a different version of Han and Leia's
absolutely.
theme.
That's why I meant this is all re-recorded music.
Right.
It's different instrumentation than we're used to, which makes this. I almost could not recognize it at first. I'm like, I know that theme, but I thought it was Leia's theme at first for some reason. And then I actually had to go to the themes and be like, okay, that's Han Solo and the Princess, because you're used to hearing it like la 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 la. With the horn solo, very mild, but this was, like intense. And then right from Han Solo and the Princess theme, you lead into the Force theme, which is played triple forte with brass, and you could tell, I was just being a musician myself, I was kind of in the musicians' heads. Like, if I was playing that as a brass player, I would have been so into it. Like, I could just feel the intensity of the people playing those instruments, and you could tell that was coming out in their playing, and it's so exciting. So you hear the Force theme.
So every repeated theme,
yes, just
it was
louder.
It was like souped up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even Han and Leia is very pretty, melodic.
No, that was
theme.
played intensely with the horns, and then you got, so the Force theme, of course, is played just with the brass, and you come to a crescendo, and then it goes off, and you hear a horn play Luke's theme. Which just, it brings it all around to the very first time we see Luke Skywalker walk out on Tatooine, and you hear the horn solo with Luke's theme. It was played much differently here, because it's a new music and everything, but I just love how the saga of Star Wars is just brought about in the music as well as the images we're seeing and the hyperspace coming back and all this stuff. Everything comes full circle.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the most we're hearing a piano.
Yeah, a lot of piano. Yes, at the very beginning, you start with that simple piano, and a piano is one of those instruments in an orchestra where you don't really hear unless not a lot of instruments are playing.
Right.
So I did like that, the piano and the harp.
So what do you call those? The high pitched keys?
I mean, you could just hear the piano timbre in there at the beginning,
which slowly led you
builds and builds
to that voice, and we see Rey. I think she's crawling around the inside of a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, probably. Scavenging, who knows? Yeah, so what I'm thinking is this music could be kind of portraying the plot of the movie in that it starts very small, like a very single instrument, which means, a single person's journey, and then it builds and builds until the whole galaxy is involved in something, just like A New Hope, really. Where you start with Luke's story just very simply on the planet of Tatooine, and then, he joins the rebellion, and all of a sudden he's involved in this huge epic space battle against the Death Star.
So do you think they're going to repeat the Imperial March?
That's a good question. I think he'll do call-outs to various melodies, because like we've learned from listening to the music and hearing Star Wars Oxygen, you know, Star Wars is made up of leitmotifs. So you have your motives for different characters, your different themes, and by bringing them back at different points, even when the character is not on screen, the music is actually telling you something about the plot or about a character's intent.
I kind of want to hear a new theme where we roll the Imperial March into the new First Order theme.
Yeah.
That would be dramatic.
Well, you know, one of the cool things I noticed in this trailer, the music, is that during the Force theme, you would like this, the percussion was souped up a lot. Like you got those bum bum, you know, going on bum bum during the Force theme, and you've never ever heard that before.
It wasn't until really the 4th or 5th time we had seen it that I could really focus on the music, because the images are just so powerful.
They are, and when we saw it, you know, at Downtown Disney, the music, it was overblown, honestly. You couldn't really hear it that well. So we had to go home to listen to the music properly. But what I'm jazzed about, my favorite thing about this trailer, do you want to know?
Sure.
Han Solo and the Princess.
Oh.
So not only do we get their theme, but you have that wonderful image of Leia and Han hugging, just like that. And that's my favorite ever part of Star Wars, and I'm just all about the romance.
Yeah, because we had seen Han and Chewie together. Now just to see two of the other legendary characters like Han and Leia together.
Yeah.
I think for that shot right there, that brought it all together for me.
Oh, yeah. And I saw that shot on Instagram a lot. Lots of people are very excited about that shot.
I'm sure. And speaking of really rolling this movie into the classic films, all 6 films, I love that part where Rey says to Han on the Millennium Falcon,
There are stories about what happened.
And then Han Solo says,
It's true. All of it.
I love this, that they're really bringing all of the old stories into this.
Yes.
I'm wondering if he's going to briefly retell some of these stories the way C-3PO did in Return of the Jedi. It wouldn't be anything to that extent.
Right.
But I just want to hear some kind of connection.
Yeah.
From Han's point of view. But then again, the look on Han Solo's face when he says all of it, as in all of it is real, all of it is true.
Oh, yeah.
That just tells everything. The look on his face is like, yeah, I've been through Death Star attacks. I've been encased in carbonite. I've had to disengage an Imperial bunker.
Yep.
It was so many stories.
So much weight to that statement.
Yeah, there really, really is.
Yeah. Now, just bring it back to the music. At the very end, you know, you hear Luke's theme played by a solo French horn. Thank you very much. I'm so excited that John Williams is, you know, keeping with his track record of using French horns so much. And it ends in a distinctly major key, very optimistic tone, which I find interesting because all the previous trailers and things involved with The Force Awakens have been very intense and more minor keys and like, what's going to happen with this story? But I find it interesting that he ends with that nice major key, like everything's going to be all right.
And then within the ending, we hear Princess Leia's voice.
The Force, it's calling to you.
I don't know if that's Princess Leia. Has an English accent.
Did you not see Star Wars?
I know. The very first one, she has English
She has a little
accent.
bit of an English accent.
I just don't think that's her.
That's Princess Leia.
I don't think so. I think it's Rey maybe, or someone we don't know, like that first woman we hear at the very beginning.
Tweet walkers, what do you think? Is that Leia at the end with that voiceover?
Yeah, tweet at us at SkywalkingPod.
Now, of course, we couldn't have gone down to Downtown Disney without our microphones, and we got a couple of reactions from the fans.
Sal Perales, and I thought the trailer kicked butt. It had lightsabers, it had staffs, it had space battles, it had stormtroopers flying every which way, it had Kylo Ren and his little group of other Kylo Ren homies. It had everything.
All right, was there a tearjerker moment like the last trailer at Celebration?
I don't know about tearjerker, but there was a hug. The hug was good, and the fact that the guy who used to tell the kid that he's crazy is the one saying the stories are all true. That really got me.
All right. Thank you. How about you?
For me, it was the John Williams music, like the modified Force theme that sounded like an Imperial March kind of. Oh, that gave me so many chills. And then Kylo talking about how he's going to finish what Vader started. Oh, I don't know what he's talking about, but I want to know what he wants to finish.
Sandwich, what is he going to finish? Was there an extra guest bedroom that never got finished on the Star Destroyer Executor? Like, something's got to be finished.
So you felt like the trailer left you with more questions than answers.
Yeah. Definitely still got a lot of questions.
Who was the voice that was talking in the beginning? Is that Maz Kanata? I don't know.
Yeah?
It's not, the way I see it is like she could be like reptilian maybe, because I think that's her in the trailer with the orange skin that was handing Leia the lightsaber. So I'm assuming that's her, but I'm not sure.
Now, what are your thoughts about not seeing Luke?
I miss him. I'd like to know about him, but I can wait. I'm a patient man. There's a reason for everything.
You know what? I heard a tweet. I saw a tweet about Luke. Someone thinks that Luke may be like dark side for some reason. I just saw a tweet. That's why
Twitter is the worst place to hang out.
I think it's a trailer for everybody out there. We didn't get a Chewie we're home moment out of it, but it certainly showed us a lot of awesome tidbits. The movie looks amazing. You got to say, the movie looks amazing.
What was your favorite part?
We saw the Knights of Ren. That was pretty freaking cool. And then seeing, Han Solo talking to Daisy Ridley, and I mean, there's a connection there. There's got to be a connection there. So seeing the original people, yeah. Well, here it is again. You see the new stuff that makes you excited for the new movie, but then you see the old cast going, oh, yes. It makes you all warm and fuzzy inside. We're home.
I thought it was fantastic. It's a culmination. You can see in the on screen, it's a culmination of the passion and the love and absolutely filmmaking at its best.
I have a question for you, actually, because this is the first trailer you've seen with a group of people, right?
Yes, this is the first.
Now, how is that experience compared to, have you seen the other trailers?
Well, of course, I've seen them. I've seen them on the computer screen. I've seen them on, iPad and such. But seeing it in person with all the people around that are just passionate because you see how they're dressed and their lightsabers in the air, it's just... it's indescribable, basically. There's nothing else quite like it.
True. So if there's another trailer release or something and you happen to be in the area, would you come?
No.
Is it just because we dragged you here? Nice. And Mom, did you like it?
Yes. It was very exciting.
Was it fun to be around all these crazy Star Wars fan people?
That was the most exciting part of it because I really don't know the entire Star Wars saga, to tell you the truth. I've seen about 4 movies out of all of them, and I have to piece them all together.
Okay, so then...
I'm not quite sure what's going on, but
it
was...
Which characters did you recognize?
Han Solo.
Yay!
Now, do your best Kylo Ren impression.
Who's that?
Well, I think it's always, you see these little kids that are dressed up, and what goes through my mind is, how much is this the kid that wanted to do this or the parent that pushed the kid to be there? I think it's adults that are really getting into this in a big way. I mean, those that have experienced the first movie when they were 7 or 8 years old and have continued to enjoy every release.
Sometimes it's the other way around. It's the kids pushing the parents into it. The parents going down memory lane once again. Brings them all back.
I guess that's where we fall in. When Star Wars first came out, we went to see it maybe a couple months after the release date, and it was really cool, but it wasn't until Sarah was a child, and we went back to the theater with her in tow, that we relived that Star Wars experience. But then it was really Sarah meeting you that brought it to a head, and so now I understand what real fandom is about.
Now you're here at downtown Disney in a big group of crazy fans in the rain listening to this music. That's way too loud. You're welcome. Something else we want to share with all of our Skywalkers is that our good friend Dan Barry, one of the co-hosts of Podcast 66, and one of the best things that came out of Star Wars Weekends 2014 was meeting he and Lindsay, his now wife. Dan, he wrote a song, and he combines two of my favorite things, Star Wars and Halloween.
Yay, yeah, because Podcast 66 last week put out their special Halloween episode. So he wrote a song in honor of that, and it's called The Tarkin Mash.
He did the Tarkin Mash. It was a Death Star smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the Tarkin Mash. From the desert sands of planet Tatooine to the gripping power of my tractor beam, the rebels all came with futile hopes of rescuing Princess Leia Organa, the dopes. They did the Tarkin Mash. It was a Death Star smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the Tarkin Mash.
So if you Skywalkers want to hear more, just head over to YouTube and put in the Tarkin Mash. Fantastic, fantastic song. Thank you, Dan, for sharing that with us. Now, something else we want to share. One of our good friends and guest that just stops by every once in a while. Well, he did it once. James Caan, who wrote the novelization to Return of the Jedi. During our interview with him, he had talked about this movie he wanted to make, which sounded really interesting, called Wrong Side Bob. And now he has set up a campaign where he's trying to crowdfund this movie.
Yes.
And it looks hilarious just from what I've seen and read of it. And this is a press release he had sent out. It says, "This is it. I'm making my own movie. After decades of getting other people's stories up on the big screen, I've taken a scary leap into the abyss of my longtime dream to write and direct my own film. Titled Wrong Side Bob, it's a comedy drama with my music about the masks we wear and the risk of exposing our inner selves. The story is close to my heart on many levels, all of which makes it hard to ask, but here it is. I need money to get my movie made. I'm extending my hand to you. The Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign launches October 15th, and you can donate at igg.me/@/wrongsidebob, all one word.
Yeah, you can just probably search the internet for Wrong Side Bob, all one word, and you'll find this.
So James is looking to raise just a mere $85,000.
Okay.
Which is dirt cheap for a movie.
So some of the things he's offering are actually some rare signed items from Return of the Jedi. Like he's offering for $350, he's offering a Return of the Jedi novel with Khan's name misspelled on the cover, autographed by James Caan, which is spelled wrong. That's so funny. It's very rare.
Whereas his name is K-A-H-N. They spelled it K-H-A-N.
Yep. Oops.
They're getting their Star Wars and Star Trek mixed up.
Yeah.
But when James was here a few months ago, he was just fantastic to talk to. You can tell he really, really had a deep desire to make this movie.
Yes.
This is not just some flash in the pan. If I make it, I make it. I don't, I don't. He was really committed, and he had a very strong story, which sounded extremely good.
And he's been working on it for quite a while.
And I really hope we can help in any way get Wrong Side Bob made. So once again, if anyone can help out by just, throw out a couple of bucks. It'll pay for maybe some craft service.
Yes.
Probably the most important thing on a film set, food. If you have a well-fed crew, you have a very happy crew. And a crew that will work very, very long hours. So yeah, once again, go to the Indiegogo page and look up Wrong Side Bob, and you'll see tons and tons of incentives. And he only has a couple more weeks, so please, please get to it. And we want to help out in any way that we can. So, James, we wish you well. And if anyone has any questions you want us to forward to him, please let us know at share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Be our
Guest, be our guest, put our podcast to the test. Gather round the microphone and we will do the rest.
Star Wars Rebels Season 2 has just begun, and there's so much to talk about.
Our next guests come from my neck of the woods outside the Boston area. From one of the best free-range Star Wars discussion podcasts, Brews and Blasters, here are Joseph Tavano and Chris Salton to talk Rebels, Rex, and Oppo Rancis. Hey, guys.
What's up? How you doing?
We are doing great and really looking forward to talking to you guys. Now, like I was saying before we started recording, in the spirit of this show and your show, we're going to be sipping on this Imperial Stout.
Nice. You know it. We have well, it's not Jack Daniels anyway. Was it Jack Daniels?
Yes.
Oh, it's very old Jack Daniels that a friend of Chris's gave to him that was just mellowing in the basement, and a little bit of Coca-Cola as well.
Oh.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
There you go.
Gotta keep it legal.
gotta just, yeah, that's an appropriate lubricant, I suppose.
It's Friday.
Oh, it is Friday.
That's right, Friday night.
Now, before we begin, tell us all about Brews and Blasters, and I'm guessing I know why we call it Brews. And your Retro Zap website, which hosts your podcast.
Yeah, you got it. So it's funny, we don't have too many brews anymore on the show, but it's funny. It's historical, really. We started talking at the local pub. You know, Chris and I have been friends for years, and we'd get together and talk about Star Wars. And none of our mutual friends really are into Star Wars like we are. So we started to get together maybe like every 3 weeks, a month, just about, yeah. And we'd get together at the Tin Whistle in Salem, Mass, and just talk about the wars all night. And we were like, we should really be recording this. What are we doing? So we did. And we, like, when we say it in the intro, two guys from Boston who are talking about this stuff anyway, that is for sure. So that is the origin of Brews and Blasters, and that's kind of how it all came together. And Retro Zap was starting right around the same time. We all these projects kind of like just bubbled up to the surface right around the same time. I wanted to learn a little bit more about hosting a website. I wanted to write more, just kind of get into it a little bit more and kind of connect more with the Star Wars community. So I started Retro Zap, and it really blew up.
This was about a year ago?
Yeah, Retro Zap just had its first year anniversary in October, and Brews and Blasters is starting up in November. At the same time, Chris was starting his YouTube channel and the Collector's Hut. So he was right there with us at the same time. So it all really kind of came together for right around fall of 2014.
Wow. Now, at what point were you guys talking and realized, wait a minute, this should really be recorded and shared?
I think, was it when I was talking about Wedge as a chump, or was it that thing?
I think it was before all of that.
Really?
We got into some like really silly, wacky stuff at the Whistle, and we're always like, oh, we should record this. We should do a website. We should review things. Like, we had all these things like brewing, and then we would just wake up the next day and like just go to work.
Yeah.
and like a month would pass, and we're like, hey, we should do that.
We should do it. We should bring a recorder to the pub and do that.
Which I still think we should.
We should try, at least. We would try. We tried once. We have the recording. You'll never hear it.
Yeah.
And you guys are all like childhood friends, right?
Yeah. I think like I knew Chris. He was actually friends with my younger brother, who's 6 years younger than me, and I met through him when they were preteens.
Yeah.
Yeah, like junior high.
It's weird. It was more of like a come and go thing,
Yeah. And then when I met my now wife, I found out that Chris was her cousin. And we just after a few years we just reconnected, and it was we saw each other for the first time at a wedding.
Whoa.
After not seeing each other for another cousin. And we're like, what's up, man? Star Wars? Star Wars. And it was off and running.
Yeah.
Aw. So you guys are actually related. I mean, by marriage.
By marriage.
But yes.
Chris is my cousin-in-law.
Oh. And you guys, when you guys record Brews and Blasters, you're in the same room, which is very rare.
We love that. Yeah, it's fantastic. We live about 10 minutes away.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
We have you beat, though.
Yeah.
You sure do. You can tell a lot about how great your relationship is from just listening to YouTube talk back and forth. It's really fantastic.
We save it for the mic. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, as soon as the mic is off, it's like, you go to your room, I'll go to my room, okay?
No.
I totally agree with Joe, though. I love what you guys do. And it really reminds me a lot of me and my fiance because she comes to all the conventions with me.
Oh.
You know, we share so much stuff with each other, Star Wars related. And I'm so proud of the fan that she became. You know, like we'd be waiting in lines and someone will be talking to me and then she'll answer it. I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, she's a keeper.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
June 25th.
Yeah. 2016, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a themed wedding?
Well, I am going to have a Vader and a Boba Fett there. I feel like it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
And she's totally on board. She was like, yup. And I'm like, sweet. You know, and definitely some music.
Yeah. I think the only thing I nixed from Richard's ideas, he wanted Yoda to marry us.
Oh my God. Genius.
And having worked in the special effects department, I could have gotten some friends to put together a Yoda puppet that could have moved like the Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my.
But no.
Build the soundstage at Dagobah, get a couple of reptiles in there just slithering around too.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
And then the videographer could put in like that bat thing that flies by.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, so I know how I'm spending my Saturday. I'm going to convince her of this.
All Saturday, just going to convince her of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we had R2 and 3PO as our ring bearer. We had Stormtrooper security guards. So we really went all over this.
Oh, man. That's
awesome. Yeah, I was thinking of having Boba Fett hold the rings.
Oh, hey, that's cool. That'll work.
How's the reception been for Brews and Blasters? And I ask that because I always hear your names coming up on different shows and podcasts. And it's like, hey, we know those guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish I had written down what shows those were, but it's like someone will just happen to mention Brews and Blasters or Joseph Tavano or Chris Salton from the Collector's Hut.
You know, I really want to thank those 5 people. It's fantastic. My uncle and
my mom's a huge supporter.
Yeah, really. That is humbling. Absolutely humbling. We're looking at each other kind of flabbergasted here.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic. The reception has been really, really warm. We're building a really great community at Brews and Blasters. You know, everyone's invited. We actually are trying to keep it kind of a family show. We don't really, talk about drinking. We don't talk about things like that. We just have a good time. It's more about friendship and, community in that way. And we have, we're kind of developing a little cast of characters. We have our Oppo Rancesis that we love. That's our patron saint, kind of. And
you guys have to explain that a little bit.
Well, we just like Oppo Rancesis.
It's pretty incredible to just keep hearing his name pop up because I loved him since I seen him. You know? And I was like, who is that guy? Yeah, who's that guy?
So he's a Jedi, right? But I'm not remembering what he looks like.
So he's on the Jedi Council.
Okay.
And he has 4 arms and a massive beard. And he sits on like the left. If Yoda's in center and you're standing where Anakin would be standing in the middle of the Jedi Council, he's on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he sits. And we've only seen him move once in the Clone Wars season 6. And Chris talked to Filoni about that, and it magically happened.
Yeah, I met him like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at Star Wars Weekends. I had it on my mind, and I was like, hey, I would really like to see Oppo in an episode. And then he went on to tell me that he was like, yeah, we were supposed to have him fight in Savage Opress, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is going to be an epic story.
It was the one of the fight on the bridge, right?
Yeah. And he's like, but you wouldn't like the way that it ended. And I was like, you know something? Just to see him in action, that would make it for me. And then we're talking for about 5 minutes before like the crew. We're like, all right, guys, like
time to move on.
Yeah, keep it going. Yeah. I was walking away. He was like, I'm gonna try, and I'm like, thank you. Like I'm like, this guy is awesome, you know. And years passed, and then I saw on StarWars.com they had like a sculpt of Oppo's head.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a second. They just don't do this for fun.
They don't just make that out of the blue.
Yeah. And then the Lost missions came out, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's there.
He's in there.
We see him slithering away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't talk.
No, he was in the background.
But that's all I wanted.
That's it. That was it. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you guys had mentioned on one of your last shows that he's also in the comic book. So I'm going ripping through the comic book and like, oh, there he is.
Yeah. Well, what are the possibilities there are two? I mean, it has to be him, right?
There's only one.
There's only one.
And he was in I want to say the Kanan comic?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, nice. This is so funny.
Hold on. He was the Star Wars comic. He was in the Star Wars comic that Luke found the holocron.
Right, yeah.
Luke Skywalker and Oppo.
Yeah, I'm reading all the comics at the same time, so they start to blur.
Blend.
They really do. I'm right there with you.
So I'm wondering how many times does Dave Filoni get a fan come up to him and ask about some random background character?
Well, you know, if you look at the hashtag Oppo, like there was like one or two, and then we kind of took that.
So Sarah, Oppo Rants is to them what Who Jibs is to us.
Right.
Well, Who Jibs. Love it.
And you guys even have your Oppo awards.
Yeah, we decided to do that. We had a great listener and friend of the show, Mark Suter, just was like, we started getting these fan submissions after a while, and they were just sending in these amazing pieces of art and just amazing creations. And Mark Suter he hosts the Idiots Array podcast, and he's a great guy. And he's like, check out this award I made for the Oppo Awards. We were just going to announce it on the show, and all of a sudden, like, now we have like this amazing art that we can use, and we give it away once a show just for leaving a review on iTunes.
And you Photoshop their name in it, so it's really like a bowling trophy, but Oppo's on the top. It's pretty awesome.
It's a major award.
It's pretty sweet.
Even though it's hard to say.
You know what? I'll get rid of all my diplomas, move them off the shelf. I want my Oppo right there.
Oh, well, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll definitely get you in the running if you leave a review.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I want one. I still don't have one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a whole fake account, and I'm like, oh, really? Wow, that guy said a lot of nice things.
Yeah, we'll have to do it.
Yeah.
See, that's why I love your show so much, because it is very free range and it goes everywhere, and it's just so much fun because you guys sound like you're always having so much fun with every discussion that you have.
We really do enjoy it.
Yeah, we try. We definitely try.
Well, that's why we brought you on, so that we could have fun discussing Clone Wars with you.
Oh, no, Rebels.
I'm sorry, so that we could wait. Let me say it again.
I tell you, a little bit of Imperial Stout gets to her head. Look what happens.
That's why we brought you on, so that you could discuss Star Wars Rebels with us.
There we go.
Sarah, you're not driving anytime soon, are you?
No.
All right, so now let's talk The Lost Commanders. The first, I guess it would be the second episode in the Rebel Season 2, because the first one would be Siege of Lothal.
Yeah.
I don't even know how this numbering's going anymore. They've really confounded me, but I just love it.
Yeah. At least it's every week now, right? We're on a weekly basis.
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we care about. The season has started.
Okay, so whether it be episode 1 or 2, I'm gonna call this 2, or was Siege of Lothal considered 2 episodes?
We should look at our DVR and see what it says.
Yeah, this might be math is hard, guys.
I know.
I'm having a hard time here.
All right, you know what? Let's just talk about The Lost Commanders and worry about the episode number later on.
Sounds good.
All right, so what did you guys think about The Lost Commanders? And was this the first time you had seen it?
Yes, this was the first time we saw it. We recorded our show, then we put it on pause, and we watched it, and then came back and had just minute reactions. We're like, "Whoa, that was great!" And I'm not going to speak for Chris on this, but I thought it was awesome.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. Just to see Rex again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It really was. And yeah, just the interaction between Kanan and the clones, and even the Jaws homage was
reference.
unbelievable.
Yay.
And even on a more serious note, the discussion that arises about PTSD and these clones and soldiers that have spent time at war and really lived an entire lifetime at war, and now just have to find a way to live after that. It's really poignant and done in such a nuanced way that it's not heavy-handed at all. And I thought that was really fantastic.
What did you guys think about Santa Rex and his whole new look? And I'm guessing that he's trying to grow out his beard as long as Oppo Rensis.
Oh, whoa. You're throwing down the gauntlet there. Saber. Yeah, no, I think I think it was a very close cropped beard. let's be honest. He definitely is maintaining that. He's a soldier. He's definitely practices, good hygiene for,
He's
for
tucking
sure.
in his t-shirts.
He is. Really is. He modified that armor to make it like wearable every day.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And he reminded me of my grandfather. Like he really did. Like my grandfather had that same body type. Like yeah, like he was like barrel chested and like a strong guy, but still in advanced years, but still knew how to throw down, and it was fantastic.
Now, I don't want to spoil anything in case you don't already know, but do you know of the other crossover characters from the Clone Wars?
Oh, Hondo?
Hondo.
Yes, my favorite.
Oh, Hondo Anaka.
He's my favorite character from the Clone Wars. One of my favorite Star Wars characters ever.
He looks a lot different too.
I like it though. Like he's kind of retired too. He's kind of let himself go a little bit. He doesn't dress as flashy anymore.
I was gonna say he doesn't dress as flashy. Definitely.
But he still got it with him.
Yeah.
He's
like, be a pirate Jedi.
Yeah, he's more about inspiring the next generation.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that Hondo episode.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're gonna see Cad Bane return too.
Oh, that would be cool. I was actually thinking of him the other day.
Of all the characters I'd like to see brought from television to film, Cad Bane is definitely high on the list. I'd say Kanan and Cad Bane are right up there.
I really want to see Maul again.
Well, yeah.
And now that we saw this trailer and that like Clan Vizsla, Mandalorians, I feel like if they're gonna do it, now might be the time.
The last time we saw Maul, he was being dragged back by a bunch of Mandos.
Right.
Would you want to see him as a potential Inquisitor?
That'd be weird.
I think he hates Palpatine more than ever. Now,
he likes running his own show on Mandalore.
Yeah.
He was really at home there.
Right, but I think if Palpatine tried to drag him back or just use some kind of a force wipe technique, I think that could be interesting. I would just love to see that, or maybe another Zabrak.
Oh yeah,
from Dathomir.
That could be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd always love to see Zabraks.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, or is it Iridonian? Let's call the whole thing off.
Yeah, I once asked Dave Filoni about that. Zabraks from Dathomir, are the Iridonians? What's up? And he gave me like a 25-minute answer.
That's why we love them,
And I said, if you could answer this in one word, what would it be? And 30 minutes later,
wow,
love them.
Aftermath got into that too. I was reading Aftermath, and there really is a line in Aftermath being like, "Well, was it a Dathomiri? Is it Eridonia? I don't know. Let's move on." It's one of those type of paragraphs. It was really funny. Like even people in the Star Wars universe have a hard time differentiating where this species might be living, and it doesn't really matter.
Or other potential Inquisitors. Would you like to see Ventress?
Well, yeah. I mean, that'd be interesting.
I don't think that's for her. She's so not part of a tribe. Like she's not.
No, not anymore. She's not going to trust Palpatine or any part of the Sith.
That's what I'm saying. She's very much her own woman, and I don't think she'd like give in to any kind of.
But just knowing the kind of mind tricks that Palpatine can play, I'm sure he can talk anyone into. I'm sure he could talk Kanan into being an Inquisitor.
She definitely is very very persuasive. I mean, a Dark Disciple addresses interesting things about where she would be at this time. So that's kind of, I'll leave it at that.
And that's a very, very well written, excellent book.
Yeah, we love that one.
We'll have to get into that. I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts about this episode, Lost Commanders, is the way that they tied in the Kanan comic books to the series.
Oh. Yes, that was cool.
Freddie, would you call it a soliloquy? I don't know. His monologue.
Yes.
His monologue about remembering the Order 66, remembering that day. It blew me away. I had to text, real FPJ and just be like, "You just killed it." Just that was amazing.
Yeah, I had to grab my tissues.
Yeah, I don't want to say the acting has improved because the acting was top notch in season 1, but there is something about the animation and the acting coming together in a way that's even more powerful than it was in the first season.
Yeah.
And it blew me away in this first episode. Just these moments that are just so powerful.
Well, I feel like they're more closer and familiar with their characters now. And there's so much more literature on their characters.
True.
Right.
To really build on. Because,
more to work with.
Yeah, Kanan's comic is like unbelievable.
You know what blew me away? Hera being angry.
Yeah.
Watching Vanessa Marshall do that whole range. It was like, whoa, she is not happy that the ghost is not functional right now.
It's like, always the hyperdrive, man.
It's a whole
the rebels are cursed.
Yeah.
Right?
The Empire Strikes Back is basically about car trouble. That's really like really, like if everything worked fine in the Falcon in The Empire Strikes Back, no problems, movie over.
Yeah, there wouldn't be no problems.
Yeah, we're done. Okay, let's go. Okay, done.
And probably Han and Leia wouldn't have had that moment to kiss.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm glad the hyperdrive didn't work.
There you go.
Sarah, I think you deactivated the hyperdrive in the Millennium Falcon. I think that was you.
I had an ulterior motive.
At the Rebels press conference here in Burbank, it was great to hear Freddie Prinze Jr. reference those Kanan comics. It's like, oh, good. He follows the comics.
Yeah. In fact, I was going to ask him a question about that, and then he himself brought them up.
Yeah, that was the one question I had. It's like, well, he just answered that.
Yeah.
He is a real fan, like a true fan of Star Wars, and he gets it in a way that it's just so refreshing and fantastic. I really love his involvement with the show and the Star Wars universe in general. I really hope that we see him around playing Kanan for a long time.
I hope so too. And he's like very close with his fans too, because when that season finale was coming close, you know, I was tweeting and he answered my tweet and I was like, I can't wait for this, you know? And he was like, all I have to say is you're going to throw up awesomeness. And I'm like, you know, that's what I want to hear because now I'm even more excited. And I mean, he tries to connect with everybody and
he really does.
It really says a lot about him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever he opens his mouth, though, you can see Dave Filoni just waiting to jump in with it. Hey, guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
That's why at Celebration, I attended all those panels and I love all the questions they were asking Filoni because he was like, oh man, I don't, you know, like he has to like watch me and he's like, you guys,
you really putting me through the paces here, guys.
Yeah. Have to watch to find out, you know, maybe you might see him. I don't know.
You know what I can say.
Yeah. Ashley Eckstein was also at this press conference and we keep trying to ask her slyly about the whole upcoming Ahsoka Vader battle, but her mouth will just close and clamp shut. She will not say a thing. She says she doesn't know anything, and I believe her.
Yeah.
Because I think she can be a horrible liar.
Right. Right. Yeah, in fact, she wasn't taking interviews for the first half of this year, like, for anyone, because she didn't want to slip up or even have to lie about Ahsoka being in Rebels.
She's brilliant for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, nerves of steel as well. I mean, for her to be able to pull that off and for it to be such an amazing reveal it was just beautiful. I mean, I really applaud her on her ability to keep the fans guessing in that way because she's so personable at the same time.
Yeah.
She's not someone that has to stand off and really be too far off. But I mean, with the Ahsoka reveal, you kind of have, there's no way, you know, I would be excited. I mean, there's no way to contain that excitement I'm sure she must have felt.
Well, we're all hoping for that because when she left the order, I was like, it was heavy. There's that word again. But seriously, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like what?
Where's she going? What'd she do?
Where'd she go? She got to get an apartment now.
Yeah, I know.
She opens a cupcake shop.
Oh my,
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, Tano's cakes. I like.
Yeah.
Tano's cupcakes.
That works.
Yeah, but for some reason, I don't know why, I could just see her blending in the south end of Boston.
Okay, yeah. No, she could definitely hang out on the south end.
Yeah. She can roll with like a rough crowd.
No, that's South Boston, not the South. South end's a little more posh.
Oh.
Yeah, like open up a nice cupcake shop there and, you know, just have a...
It's bad my mind goes there, you know?
No, people do that, you know? South Boston is more like, you know, there's no cupcake shops in South Boston.
No.
We'll take a break right now from talking with Joe Tavano and Chris Salton from Brews and Blasters to hear from one of our other podcasting friends.
Greetings and salutations, Skywalkers.
This is Dale and Andy from the DCast.com.
The DCast is a YouTube channel, podcast, and blog about all things Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars.
So if you like your beignets hot and mixtapes awesome, your milk blue, then just keep swimming over to the DCast.com.
It's the only website that connects you to everything you love faster than Geppetto can send his son to school.
So tune in and listen to the cutest podcast duo on the internet,
the DCast.
And now we're back with Joe Tavano and Chris Salton of Brews and Blasters, talking Star Wars Rebels Season 2.
Now, is this something that you guys want to see, the Ahsoka versus Vader battle? It could only really go in one direction.
It's one of those things that I'm excited about it, but I'm petrified at the same time because of my love for Ahsoka.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. It really is. But what I hope it is, we get to the end of like the penultimate episode of the season, and all you do is just hear lightsabers go on. Yeah. And then the next episode's 22 minutes fight.
Yeah. I don't. The thing is, we're going to relive that feeling. Like, we didn't know how Ahsoka, if she was going to leave or if she was going to get killed in the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And I was like, she needs to live. And now we're doing it again. Yeah. And I'm like, she needs to live. Yeah. But she's going to face Vader. So, oh man.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, the only other out I could ever see for this entire band of rebels is for them all to like kind of end up on Alderaan being like, well, we got the plans, or we helped them get the plans. We helped the Rogue One get the plans. And what could possibly go wrong now?
Boom.
Yeah. And that would kind of be it. Just be like,
that would be the worst season finale ever.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna ask where do you think they would take this Ahsoka versus Vader conflict? Like, would it smack down in a different direction or something? But that's a very interesting idea.
Would they have them all go to Alderaan?
Yeah.
Never land on Alderaan.
Never.
If they just listened to our podcast, they would know never to land on Alderaan,
That's
and
true.
it'd be a whole different story.
That's true.
And it's like the place is so beautiful, I know. It's kind of like one of those bright lights to like a fly. Like you just want to go there.
You just want to see. You just want to see it once.
What is siren song?
Yeah, I just picture people on Alderaan saying, "Why is this podcast telling people never to land here? What is wrong with Alderaan?
It's so peaceful and beautiful. Everybody should be here."
And so off the Empire's radar.
Oh yeah.
Now, the way I would like to see this is that Vader toys with Ahsoka the same way he did with Luke in The Empire Strikes Back. Because if they had a battle, 10 seconds later, it'd be done. But if he just strung her along with a motivation of turning her to the dark side, I think that could be a whole season right there.
Now, that would be interesting, because that would also be defying what the Emperor would want. And
at
that point, we're not really seeing the Defiant Vader. I always thought the Defiant Vader was born out of the idea that he had a son. This is going to be a very dynamic situation that we really haven't seen Vader in yet. So,
right.
I really don't know where to take that. That it would be cool. It would be really cool to see him try to save her, and maybe like a shred of that humanity come back.
He could try to turn her to like an Inquisitor, which would be terrible.
That would almost feel like his humanity coming back, being like, yeah, like I can save you if you come to the dark side.
Yeah, like the grass is greener here. It's really nice.
The blades are redder here.
Yeah.
Timeline, I think you're right that it's so close to the end of Revenge of the Sith. Well, 15 years really. And I think he's still on that whole. The Jedi's really messed me up. Obi-Wan turned his back on me, so I'm just going to focus everything I can on this Empire and whatever Palpatine says. And it's not really until after Star Wars and the new, how we read in the new in the new Marvel comic, where he turns defiant against the Empire and the Emperor, and he's trying to build his own army. Yeah, battle droids.
Yeah, and that moment when he realizes that Luke is his son is that moment in the comics gave me chills.
Yeah, and the fact that Boba Fett was the one who told him.
Yeah. Finally, Fett did something.
I love when
seriously. Wow, I'm so glad we started reading comics, Richard. Like, there's like so much depth there that I would never have known about.
I came back to comics after like a 20-year hiatus. for the Star Wars comic. And I feel like I really came in at a really good time because that wrapped up, and then Son of Dathomir was released, and then the Marvel Comics began. And it's just been gung-ho since then.
I've never been like a huge comic book fan, but with the whole Son of Dathomir, I was actually at the comic book place release. Like, I needed to know what happened immediately, you know?
That's for sure.
Well, now that they're rolling everything into one giant canon, you don't have to worry about what is really true to the definitive timeline.
Right.
That always messed me up.
It is true, and it kept me from really diving in, and that's something that always sort of held me back. It was because I remember when Heir to the Empire came out, I was at Barnes and Noble, and I was like, well, I don't have the internet, and I don't know anyone who's talking about this, and I'm looking at it, and it's right next to these like Star Trek books that definitely don't count. And, you know, I'm sorry, like James Doohan, you know, he was a great Scotty, but an author? Like, no. Like, they write it? No. But so I got Heir to the Empire sitting right next to it, and I'm like, well, is this for real or not? I have nothing on the cover that says that. I have nothing there, you know. It was very hard for me to like make the jump to say this is official. I didn't want to knock off. And you know, it was a great story once I finally read it, and it blew my mind. But there was something that was always keeping me back by like, yeah, they're not full canon. They're not what GL was really considering the full story. So I'm really glad that everything is now aligned and moving forward. You know, love my Legends people who grew up with that. I mean, that was definitely it kept Star Wars alive, and it kept it really inspired a whole generation of fans, and that's fantastic.
Oh,
but,
very much so, yeah.
Yeah. But man, I do love the fact that now the canon is aligned, and I am 100% on board.
Yeah, I mean, the characters with the expanded universe, Legends, all that stuff, the characters are fantastic. But I love that they cleaned everything up because now they're starting to use reference in TV and movies, and we know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we can. I feel like can be achieved.
Right. I feel like when they talk, I know what they're talking about now because it's real to me. You know.
Yeah, and now we have the opportunity to bring back Chewbacca from the dead.
Exactly.
That's right.
When I read that in Vector Prime, it's like, oh, you know what? Lucas really did not write this, so Chewie's still alive. He's still alive, and then they're bringing him back in the Force Awakens, and that just it was like giving birth. Like
it really it is. It's a big relief.
Chewie's alive. Oppo's alive because
Oppo is alive
because they did kill him. But guess what? That doesn't count anymore.
No,
so he's alive.
We have Oppo. Unfortunately, Coyote is still dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he lives on Coyote Mondays every Monday. we invented a holiday.
Nice.
Coyote Monday. That's hilarious.
Every Monday we celebrate.
Aww.
And people have been sending in some very cool things.
It's been fun. Yeah, we have a lot of great submissions on puns and comics and all sorts of things. And I try to get as many up as I can on coyotemonday.com.
Biker vests, logos.
We're going to make a biker vest.
Do you have a .com for that?
I registered it on the air.
Oh my God.
So that still counts, right?
Yeah. CoyoteMonday.com. MONDAY.
And he's wearing a jean jacket.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, yeah. We like it.
Wow.
Crack up to our own stuff.
I don't know.
So if we will know that these two guys are in the theater when we see the Force Awakens, because if there's one nuance of Oppo Rances or Coyote Monday, these Chris and Joe are just gonna go. Ah!
You're gonna hear us in California. Trust me. We'll make it loud.
I'm more of a oh my God.
Yeah. Like we're gonna suck all the air out. We're like 5 minutes.
It's kind of like an Attack of the Clones when you see the scene that reminds me of Sound of Music. Like I was the only one in the theater to go ah and start laughing.
Yeah, that was a scene, all right.
Yeah.
It was necessary though.
It was.
It was beautiful.
So I can feel you know, when you have that deep connection with a character.
Now, speaking about The Force Awakens, we're about to see a new trailer come within the week.
Oh, I hope so.
That's the talk on the streets.
Yeah, that is the humdrum.
aside from Oppo Rances, what other characters are you looking forward to seeing in the new trailer?
Luke.
Now, do you want to see Luke in the trailer, or do you want to wait until the reveal in the movie?
I'd love to see a little more Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some Phasma. What about you, Chris?
Honestly, I would like to see a hut.
A hut would be cool.
And I'm not just saying that to say it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the huts.
Yeah, the huts weren't like vanquished.
Yeah, and guess what? What happened to his son?
Yeah.
Rada.
Rada the Hut. Stinky.
Yeah, Stinky.
Yeah.
Stinky's around.
He ain't Stinky no more.
Yeah, he's causing some. No, he's like a boss somewhere.
Yeah.
They have to have respect for like the old, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the older generation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that Jabba was awesome. You know,
Rada.
Rod is running some things.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over
He's
there.
he's running his own game somewhere out on the outer rim. I just finished up Weapon of the Jedi, and Sarko Plank is really mesmerizing me right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like the faceless guy with the red robes.
Right.
He's a really interesting character.
Looks like an insect a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Just like but no face.
I've been hearing a lot with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's just going to be like camera on him, camera off. You know, like I think there might be a little bit more.
Well, they spent a lot of time with him in this book, the Weapon of a Jedi. So, yeah, that's something to be said there. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, he's really one of the guys that's captured my imagination from the figure line.
Okay.
Now, if given the choice to see the new trailer in the theater or on your computer.
Theater.
Okay.
All right, good.
I probably won't be able to. I still haven't seen the teasers in the theater either.
I waited so long. They're like, oh, you know, the Avengers, this movie.
Yeah.
And then when I least expected, I was seeing Straight Outta Compton. All the movies, that's where I seen it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I looked at Alexa and I was like, Straight Outta Compton? Like, really? Like, we see it here?
This is the geek movie where we're gonna see it
Yeah.
with? No.
Right before you get to like gangsta stuff, you see Star Wars.
Yeah, we saw it in front of Inside Out, I believe.
Oh,
I remember that.
that makes sense
Yeah.
though. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
We also saw it in front of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because I remember there's a whole row of teens in back of us kept yelling and screaming during every other
That's
trailer.
right.
And then when they started talking during the Force Awakens trailer, Sarah turned around and said, "Not this one, guys. Not this one."
Yeah.
Great.
Like my best mom voice.
Yeah. We didn't hear a peep from them throughout the whole rest of the trailers or
Yeah.
the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sarah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's very. What do you guys want? What are you looking forward to seeing in the trailer?
Wow. I don't want to see too much, but I want to see something, and I'm very torn with Luke Skywalker. I know I can't wait until the movie to see him because a week beforehand, he's just going to be plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
So so knowing that, okay, let's do a big reveal, a big Skywalker reveal in the trailer.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know a little bit more of the story elements, like the setup as regards to our new characters, so like Finn and Rey and Poe. I think that would be interesting to at least have some backstory. Like when you saw episode 1 and you get in and there's like the separatists and the whatever, and you're like, what's going on? Like, what's all this political mumbo jumbo? I'm hoping that, we'll at least know a bit of the setup, so we aren't going to be thinking about that when we're watching the movie.
Right.
You know, I'm still very interested to hear. I haven't had 100% confirmation that there is no Empire anymore. I mean, it's shattered. It's dwindling. There is what is it? The First Order. I'm sorry. The First Order arose from the ashes of the Empire, but doesn't mean the Empire went away. Does it? I mean, it may still be there.
I'm looking at the Empire in The Force Awakens, kind of like the way we saw Death Watch in the Clone Wars.
Oh, nice.
It's still there's a little tiny faction, and they're still deadly and all, but it's not as big as it once was. But they're still there.
Exactly. And what about the Rebel Alliance? I mean, the Resistance is the Resistance, but what about the Rebel Alliance? I mean, we haven't heard about that at all. Why did they change names? Did they change names, or is this a different group?
Same symbol.
Is
Right.
It looks very.
It's very similar,
Very similar.
but it's not.
Right. And the Jedi,
Yeah,
what's
you know
happened to them?
Those are the kind of questions I wouldn't mind knowing, just so when I'm watching it, my head's not going in a million directions, which I'm sure it will, and it won't be until the 8th or 9th time I see it that day that I'll understand what's going on.
Well, apparently, if you read the pre-roll to the Journey to the Force Awakens books, the novels, that actually tells you the preamble. What is that called? The
crawl?
The very beginning of
prologue?
a book. Yes, the prologues. That actually gives you some semblance of that, of what's going on. But I haven't read them yet. I heard from Trisha Barr.
I read a little bit of it. I mean, I've read Aftermath. I've read The Weapon of a Jedi. I'm finishing up Smuggler's Run right now. Yeah, and then I have a few more I got to finish.
Right. Me too.
I'm still on Tarkin.
Oh, Tarkin was kind of a slow burn, but I really enjoyed how it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a slow reader, which is why I love the comics, because there's pictures.
Yeah, right there with you, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys, you know what? We could talk for hours and hours, and I really would love to, and I'm sure we'll have you back on the show because there's just so much to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
But before we do wrap it up, tell everyone where they can find Brews and Blasters and RetroZap.
Okay, we're on iTunes. You can find us there. You can. We're always on RetroZap. You can find us at retrozap.com, brewsandblasters.com, or if you'd like, brewsandblasters.ninja.
Well, that's exciting.
We're also on Twitter, Brews and Blasters. Brew and Blaster, leave off the S.
Okay, and so you write out the whole and?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we had a fantastic time talking everything about Star Wars, and it really was a free-range discussion. So until next time, may Oppo Rances be with you.
This was a lot of fun, for sure.
Well, our Twitter shoutouts are Jedi Tink inspired today, because as you know, I am at Skywalking Pod on Twitter, but I am also at Jedi Tink. That was my original Twitter account, and that is what inspired my Jedi Tink outfit. Well, Glenn Stein, who is at SteinGS on Twitter, tweeted a picture of him with Tinkerbell in her nook at Disneyland. Now, he was wearing a BB-8 shirt, and he tweeted, "I was inspired by Jedi Tink to meet Tinkerbell for the first time." So I thought that was really cool. Thank you so much, Glenn, because it's a long line to get a picture with her. So I thought that was really cute. Now, it's always fun when people start to get to know you. Random people will come up to Richard and start making monkeys references,
And I welcome that all the time.
Oh, yes, all the time. And I'll get people sharing Rapunzel, things with me that they've done or, things like that. Well, Anthony Fox, who is at Empire_for_life on Twitter, tweeted a picture of 3 Tinkerbell pins at Disneyland. And he said, "Have you seen these? Think they're new, but not sure." So they were super cute pins, and actually I already had a pin that Trisha Barr had given me. So one of the pins there, Trisha had given me one. It was so cute.
This is really Tinkerbell inspired this weekend.
It is. I thought that was very nice that he thought of me when he saw Tinkerbell pins. So it's really cool when that happens, and we thank you guys for knowing our personalities. It's so cute.
It's always so much fun when people come up to us and go, hey.
Yep, that too. We love that. Oh, and I want to let you know that Anthony Fox, who tweeted that picture out, he runs a podcast called Mousepire, and they just released their 14th episode. Now, they are a Disney Star Wars podcast as well, but with a little more focus on Disneyland, and they're good friends of ours, and they always mention us on the show. It's very nice. And they also give lots of good tips and advice, especially about Disneyland. So if you're into more details about the parks than Richard and I provide on Skywalking Through Neverland, then Mousepire is a good supplement.
Yeah, they really know a lot of these small details that really make your park visits very successful.
Yeah, because they go a lot. They go like at least 3 times a week or something.
Or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
These guys know their stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, now it's time for the Skywalker of the Week.
Katie Stahl, Katie Stahl, Katie Stahl, Katie Stahl.
So congratulations to Katie Stahl, who we met at the D23 Expo a few months ago.
Our list keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, so now if you want to become Skywalker of the Week, Sarah, take it away.
Oh, okay. Yes. So tweet at us at SkywalkingPod or share our show on Facebook. Just say, what you like about the show, or if you meet us out at Disneyland. And there, you know what? There's a lot of meetups coming up. So lots of opportunities to come say hi and grab your BB-8 mouse ears button and perhaps become a Skywalker of the Week. And these jingles are composed by Rob Dellinger each week. He is our amazing podcast composer and a musician in his own right. And so we'd love for everyone to go to robdellinger.com and check out his other music that he's composed. He's just an amazing musician.
And as always, he is the John Williams of podcasting.
You're the busiest bee in the fan community. You get around the galaxy enthusiastically. You're 0.5 past light speed.
So on this week's 0.5 past light speed segment, we're going to talk to George Shaw, who you may know from Star Wars Musical, where he combined Star Wars and Disney. Well, now he is working on The Empire Strikes Back and Disney mashup.
Hi, I'm George Shaw. I wrote and produced Star Wars Musical. Once upon a long time ago, the music of Star Wars and Disney inspired me to become the composer I am today. So as a working composer, I've been very fortunate to celebrate my love of geekdom with projects where I got to co-write a song with Stan Lee. I've composed music for Will Wheaton's Tabletop on Geek and Sundry, and music directed the Geeky Awards. My love of music and geekdom, particularly my love for Star Wars and Disney, has made this an incredible passion project. Our initial inspiration was, what if Disney made Star Wars into an animated musical?
So we decided to take on that challenge by creating hand-painted backdrops in Disney style of Star Wars locales.
So for example, we took Aladdin's Agrabah as inspiration for Mos Eisley.
And if you look carefully, you'll see cameos of beloved Disney characters throughout our piece.
And also lots of hidden Mickey ears.
So we've already completed Episode 4, A New Hope,
which you can watch at StarWarsMusical.com.
And we're very excited to announce Episode 5,
The Empire Strikes Back.
And we want you to join us on that journey.
Back in July of last year, we interviewed George Shaw, composer, songwriter, and creator of Star Wars the Musical, on our episode 37. Now, the 10-minute musical is a perfect mashup of Disney and Star Wars, and it garnered over 250,000 views on YouTube.
George is back to tell us about creating a follow-up that you are invited to participate in. Hey, George!
Hey, guys!
Hey, thanks for coming back and sharing your follow-up news, because we just love the Star Wars musical.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited to finally be making a new one.
Yeah, and now you're going to be Disney-fying The Empire Strikes Back with The Empire's New Groove. So tell us all about this one.
It's basically a sequel to our original Star Wars musical, which was A New Hope. So we're basically taking the same concept of making Star Wars into a Disney animated musical and applying that to The Empire Strikes Back. And we'll bring back familiar characters, introduce some new ones, and have a whole new soundtrack of mashing up Disney songs with John Williams' Star Wars themes.
Yay. And you're thinking about this one to be about 10 minutes as well?
No, it'll actually probably be closer to 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that's the plan, but we may go over.
Right, short and sweet.
Exactly. We want to pack as much good stuff into a short amount of time as possible.
Now, with so many great scenes in The Empire Strikes Back, how can you narrow that down to 4 to 5 minutes?
It sort of comes down to looking at the movie as a whole and then picking out the big sort of set pieces, the ones that are most memorable in the minds of Star Wars fans.
Like the love scene.
Of course, there's that.
What music would you do? What music would you do for the love scene?
That's a good one. I mean, there's so many great romantic ballads.
I know.
Disney movies. So that I haven't actually thought about yet.
Oh, wow. That would be like the first thing I would pick out. But
So now, being a big Star Wars fan, what scene are you most excited about recreating?
Well, I think the one I'm most excited about is pairing I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan with Yoda training Luke.
Oh, nice.
So
that would be a good
I'll make
parody.
a Jedi out of you. I think that's the one that I'm most excited about.
And now, how can you roll the Imperial March into a Disney song?
That will definitely be a challenge. We briefly stated it in the first Star Wars musical, but it's really like 2 bars of that theme. In terms of making it a full song, I think the focus is really on telling the story. So finding the story moments and then picking songs that will match. So if I can fit it in, I will, but I don't know yet. That's up to the creative process.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You can't do this without including the Imperial March. So go back to the drawing table, and we'll wait here on hold. Go ahead.
Your call is important to us, so please hold for the next available representative. Thank you.
Oh, that's the thing. I haven't gotten to the drawing table yet. So I'm definitely thinking about working it in some way.
That would be awesome. Even if you like just add lyrics to it and add it to the end, like as the credit music or something.
No.
You think it should be part of
This is got to be like the centerpiece to all this. Sorry, George. I'm going to take over your whole project, okay? All based along the Imperial March.
I love hearing your suggestions, and it's awesome. And I hope the fans out there will also just tweet me or Facebook me all their awesome ideas.
Well, speaking of, where can they tweet you at? Because we love when people tweet at us during the show.
I have the @StarWarsMusical Twitter, so you can reach me there, and you can also find us at the Star Wars Musical on Facebook.
Okay, good. Just so if people are listening right now and they have suggestions.
Absolutely.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, what was the budget on Star Wars Musical?
We had no budget. So the first one, I called together a lot of friends who all donated their time. I just had to feed everyone. and it was a true work of passion. And that's why, in order to do the next one, we're reaching out to fans to bring them in and make them involved in making this. So we're doing a crowdfunding campaign through RocketHub and Ovation TV, who've selected us for their creative studio, which gives us a chance to possibly win a chance to be on TV and get an additional $5,000 to make the project. But that's if we reach our goal. So those of you out there who are big fans of Star Wars and Disney, you can help support us at RocketHub. You can find the link on StarWarsMusical.com and just help share the love, tweet, and social media the heck out of it, and just let everyone know about it.
And what is your goal?
We are trying to raise 18 grand to do Empire Strikes Back, and we have some stretch goals in place. If we get to our second stretch goal, we'll actually do Return of the Jedi as well and make the full trilogy.
Awesome. What are some of the incentives involved?
We've got a lot of fun stuff, a lot of digital goods, movie posters, T-shirts, artwork, opportunities to Skype and meet with the cast and crew and chat with us as we make the project, and just a chance to see this come to fruition.
Just to make sure I'm understanding this, if you reached 18,000, you're not only going to make Empire, but you're going to make Jedi as well?
No. Our so 18 grand is our first goal. The goalpost we got to make Empire. I think the number's like 50 grand for Return of the Jedi.
All right, maybe I'm just not understanding the term stretch goal. What does that mean?
That means if we hit our goal and we try to hit our stretch goal is where we want to go to have added benefits.
So people can still contribute even after the goal is met. That's how that works.
And that'll roll over into Return of the Jedi, the musical.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the more people can support us, the more they will get in return.
Nice. And I know for your previous Star Wars, the musical, it was very well done, high production value. Like you film everything on a green screen and then you actually animate the backgrounds and with like original artwork.
Exactly. We had an amazing artist named William Wu. I mean, he's sort of like a Disney artist reborn or resurrected. And he created these amazing hand-painted backdrops that look just like if you took old Disney animators and told them, here, go make Star Wars, and he really just created the look of Disney, but with locations like Tatooine, the Cantina and Mos Eisley, the Death Star, all those places have been Disneyfied.
Yeah, it was great seeing your soundstage, which is 5 by 5.
It was so tiny. Like we actually couldn't do any dancing moves because we just didn't have the money to really properly do it on a nice green screen stage. We just had it was literally a sheet of green paper.
So if you do reach your goal, like what are some of the extra things you do for this musical to really plus it up?
For 18,000, are you going to bring in Phil Tippett to animate the AT-ATs?
That would be awesome. We're looking to use better equipment, have like a bigger green screen stage to shoot in, so we can do more elaborate choreography. Maybe see it more of a lightsaber fight. Singing and maybe some dancing, and just expand the world. Now we have to bring in puppets too.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right.
Because of Yoda.
I think you mentioned that you want to orchestrate the whole thing, like have an actual orchestra.
Yes, that's our first stretch goal is to have enough money to put together a recording session and record some orchestral elements.
Right. That would be great.
Yeah, just make it sound as amazing as Star Wars or Disney movies sound, because they have the money to put together a full orchestra. So we'd like to emulate that level of quality.
So as interesting and as well done as Star Wars musical is, to see the behind the scenes and how you do this is just phenomenal. I never would have guessed how little of an area you had to work in, but when you see the film itself, it's just such a vast scope. So I'm very eager to see what you can do once you have a couple of bucks behind you.
Exactly. I'm super excited to see what could happen and how we can expand on it.
Now, who's going to be returning from your cast from Star Wars musical?
All or most of our original cast. And, part of it will come down to, how many characters can we fit into 4 or 5 minutes? Mm. Hopefully we'll get as much of them in as possible, and of course introduce new characters.
Yeah, you had some pretty big names attached to Star Wars musical. Tell everyone about that.
Yeah, we were very lucky to have Andrew Bowen, who is a comedic genius who was on Mad TV, and he actually just hosted the Geeky Awards last week, which I was music directing, and he's just a phenomenal actor. Haviland Stillwell is Princess Leia, and she's been a Broadway actress, and recently was in the movie Selma, and also Magic Mike, the sequel. Sean Crosby.
Okay, there you go.
We all know that guy.
Yep.
He is like my. I wish he was my dad, because he's like the Star Wars guru. He knows everything I wish I knew about Star Wars. And is such an amazing voice actor. In fact, if you guys go to our RocketHub campaign and look at the video, Master Yoda introduces a bit, and that is actually puppeteered and voiced by Obi-Wan. You get to see a little bit of that in that video.
Yeah, so apparently Yoda wants a secondary career as being a singer. Yeah, we watched it.
After 900 years of being a Jedi, I'm sure he's down for something new.
Yeah, now it's time for the fallback.
Exactly.
And really, it isn't a Star Wars fan film unless Obi-Wan's involved.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could do many more projects with him.
Nice.
Now, what are the dates for the crowdfunding campaign?
We are already launched, so it's going on now, and we are running through November the 18th of 2015.
Which is a month before The Force Awakens comes out.
Exactly.
Very
and
easy to remember.
And the funny thing is we launched on the day that the third trailer and the movie tickets were released. So it's been like a crazy Star Wars fever.
Nice.
And it's only going to get sicker and sicker.
Exactly.
Yay. Well, remind everyone where they can find you again, just so, we can contribute.
So if you go to StarWarsMusical.com, you can find the link to our RocketHub campaign, where you can support us, and please share that link as well to all your friends. And you can also find me on Twitter at Star Wars Musical.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we've come a long way since USC. We went there together.
Yeah, actually, I remember sitting in your dorm room listening to the Mulan soundtrack.
Yep, there you go.
And you said in a couple of years we'll all be podcasting together with this guy named Rich.
Yay.
All right, George, well, thank you very much. And please, if you have any more updates, by all means, come on Skywalking Through Neverland and share.
And we look forward to the premiere.
And may the Force be with you.
Skywalking through Neverland.
As a tribute to Halloween this month, Russell Flores, the author of Seen Unseen Disneyland, is going to tell us what he does not see at the Tower of Terror at Disneyland. And one quick fact that I wanted to point out that I just learned from the Nerdist podcast is that this ride was inspired by Mel Brooks.
What?
That's what I said. So apparently this ride was going to be based on his film High Anxiety, which is a parody of the Alfred Hitchcock movie Vertigo.
Okay.
So the whole up and down feeling, that shot we see in Psycho, we see it in Jaws, where the camera pushes in, but yet it dollies out, so it gets that weird feel.
Mm-hmm.
That ride was supposed to be centered around that particular shot in the Mel Brooks movie High Anxiety.
Okay.
And then it was Mel Brooks who said, you know what would be better? If you did something around maybe Twilight Zone? And Disney said, you know what? I think you're right. I think more people know Twilight Zone than High Anxiety.
I've never heard of that.
I know, just something I wanted to share with the Skywalkers before we rolled into Russ Flores' Tower of Terror Halloween tribute.
Skywalking through Neverland.
We find that it is very hard to go to Disneyland anymore without looking for things we don't see.
Luckily, that's why we have Russell Flores, author of the highly popular Seen Unseen Disneyland and more Seen Unseen Disneyland, back with us. And he's here to talk about what he has seen at Tower of Terror at Disney's California Adventure.
Hey, Russell.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Well, thanks for being back, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you guys.
Now, in honor of Halloween, you took a look around Tower of Terror to see what you hadn't seen before. So tell us all about that.
Obviously, in my latest book, I have a whole chapter on the Haunted Mansion, but we are covering the Tower of Terror today. So these are things that I've noticed over time when I'm hanging out in the queues and just standing around, or I heard about on different shows that I listen to. So we can start with right in the lobby when you first enter. So the Disney Imagineers didn't leave a whole lot to your imagination right there. They actually filled in a lot of the holes for you. For instance, when you look around, the hotel is supposed to look like they just left, like in a hurry, not like they cleaned up and then walked out. So when you look around, you'll see that they've got all sorts of details that you notice right away, like incomplete games, like chess games and stuff like that. But if you ever get an opportunity to go on one of the open houses that they occasionally have, like when Tower of Terror is down and they're just letting people walk around in the lobbies, take a look at like the postcards on the tables. They're actually half filled out postcards. They're not just sitting there postcards. They're actually like someone was starting to fill them out and then stopped and left.
Wow. What's the story that people left in a hurry?
It all has to do with that. The night when the lightning struck and, struck the hotel and everyone just left because, the hotel was getting hit and everything. So when you ride the attraction, they have the big story and they show the people going up in the elevator and then the lightning strikes. And if you look at the outside of the building, it has the damage from where the lightning struck, I should say. So, people, of course, wouldn't just stay there. They would get up and leave, and then no one wants to come back to a haunted place except for us crazy guys that want to go up and down. Another little detail there in the lobby is if you look at the counter where you're supposed to be checking in and out, there's a hat sitting there. And if you look closely at that hat, you might notice it looks really familiar, very similar to the one, and in fact, it's exactly similar to the one worn by the Walt statue out in the promenade out there.
Wow.
That's actually a little tribute to Walt Disney there.
Now, I'm sure you found plenty of hidden Mickeys all around.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot in there. I don't delve in the hidden Mickeys too much, other than when the family wants to hunt for them just for fun. But if you look at the lock on the valve in the boiler room, you might see a familiar shape right there. That would be down in the basement after you go through, the pre-show, and they have you go out of the library and you go either downstairs or upstairs. If you go downstairs to the boiler room, you'll see a familiar shape on a lock there. But also in the showroom, in the pre-show room, where Rod Serling gives his little speech, if you look around on the shelves, the top of those shelves, if you're familiar with the Twilight Zone show, you'll actually recognize a lot of those props up there because they're tributes to the various shows that are up there, such as drawing a blank on his name. Captain Kirk.
William Shatner.
William Shatner. Yeah, I don't know why I drew a blank on that. Anyway, there's one show where he goes into a diner and he's putting money into a jukebox thing that they used to have on tables in the old days. There's one of those up there. And there's all sorts of different little tributes up there that if you don't really know what you're looking at, they're just, decorations, but they're actually tributes to the Twilight Zone show.
Do you know if they're the actual props?
I do not believe they're the actual props. I'm not sure if anyone even knows where those are or not. If they were kept, they probably do, but I'm sure those props are not, because there was only probably one prop, like that diner thing. There was probably only, the ones made for the tables or other props that were used in various shows. They would need 2 at Disneyland and, 2 at Disney World because, they have more than one showroom, pre-showroom. So I seriously doubt those are actually the props.
Okay, so what you're saying is when you walk into the room where you see the movie, it's not on the bookshelves, it's above him? Above the bookshelves?
On the top shelf of the bookshelves.
Okay. Do you know about anything on the bookshelves?
Not off the top of my head, I can't remember anything.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to go in there and see what books they've picked.
Yeah, I've gone in there and looked around, but I've actually, I don't think I've ever looked at the actual books. I'm mostly interested in the props and looking around at the props on the various shelves and seeing what they have. Or like on the tables on stuff, trying to figure out if there's anything important there. Mm-hmm. But you're in there so quick, and of course they don't want you taking flash pictures, so it's really difficult to get pictures in there.
Right, and the lights are out so fast. It's all dark.
Once the lights go out, then, you're done.
And plus, Russell is more interested in things that you don't see. The books are right there. You can see those clear as day.
Yeah, but there are some interesting ones. Like if you go over to City Hall at Disneyland and you look at their bookshelf, there's all sorts of interesting titles there. But take a look at those sometime and you'll see all sorts of different tributes to different, to Mickey Mouse and different shows and all sorts of stuff on there.
Oh, cool.
Now, you were saying in the boiler room we see some shapes that could form a familiar face. Are you speaking about Burt Reynolds?
No.
Or do you know about the Burt Reynolds in the boiler room?
Actually,
Burt
I
Reynolds
don't.
Reference?
Is there a Burt Reynolds?
Yeah, when we were just there trick-or-treating with the Window to the Magic podcast, we were with our friend Wendy Cooper, and she said, Rich, do you know that Burt Reynolds is down here? Like, Burt Reynolds? Is that where he's been? So she said, yeah, come on over here. And up in one of the faces of the boiler dials and like the pressure meter, someone had stuck a clipping from Smokey and the Bandit with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
So, and do you know my connection to Wendy Cooper? She is actually the person who bought the very first copy of my first book.
Oh, oh, that's great.
We met there in front of the castle, and the first official sale took place right there. And in tribute to the first one, she is actually the person who bought the very first copy of the second book too.
Aww.
Small world, huh?
Yeah, it is.
After all.
Wow.
I'm surprised she didn't point this out to you then. Maybe we should cut this part out.
She probably will eventually, but we haven't been on that ride together yet.
Yeah, so big shout out to Wendy Cooper for that.
Yeah. Well, while we're in the boiler room, I've got a couple others for you.
Okay.
Have you looked at the really big boiler?
I have.
So as you walk in, all the way to the left?
Yeah. Isn't it like a face? Doesn't
Yeah.
it form a
lot of
face?
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, it could be Burt Reynolds.
Not Burt Reynolds.
No, it's just a generic face, but it's a typical mechanical face that you would see on a device.
Right.
But also on the workbench right in front of the boiler. If you take a close look there, you'll see pictures on there. And this one I got to give credit to Communicore Weekly, because they actually just talked about this last week, and I'd never noticed it, and I had to go back through my pictures and take a look. There's a picture, and it says Irma on it, ERMA, and that's actually a Disneyland cast member, and she still apparently works there at the Tower of Terror.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as you go out through the exit, they exit you through that gift shop, and she works there. So next time you go, look around and see if you see an Irma, and ask her, "Are you Irma, the famous Irma?"
These findings that you've been discovering, are they solely for Tower of Terror at California Adventure, or do they repeat these same things, these same themes at Walt Disney World?
Some of them they repeat, such as the items that are representative from the Rod Serling show. Those I know are in both. Irma, I suspect, is probably only at Disneyland. I've never actually ridden that one over there, so I couldn't tell you personally. I can only go by pictures that I've seen, but there's a lot of similarities between the two.
But when you do ride the one over at Hollywood Studios, ours is gonna pale in comparison. just know that going in.
Just like Fantasmic?
Oh, well, I think our Fantasmic is better.
Oh yeah, ours is way better.
Yeah.
How soon until we see Tower of Terror the movie?
It's already out.
Wait, what?
It came out, gosh, I'd have to look it up, but it came out like in the mid-90s.
A Disney film?
Stars Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, oh my, how did I forget this Steve Guttenberg opus? Did this movie tie into the ride or vice versa?
I've watched the movie, and they have some little bit, because they got the hotel and that kind of stuff, but it's not really the whole, same story. It's very much a different story, but it's very much similar. There's tie-ins. They did that one. They did the Haunted Mansion one. They're obviously talking about doing a new Haunted Mansion one, especially since the popularity of Pirates of the Caribbean. Obviously, Jungle Cruise is coming out, so they're redoing a lot of these shows based on attractions and stuff. Although I guess not the Jungle Cruise, the Thunder Mountain.
Oh wow!
They've been doing them for quite a while, but that one didn't last too long. I remember seeing that one when it first came out, and it was pretty much in the theater and out of the theater pretty quick.
So just to update ourselves here, Tower of Terror came out October 26th, 1997, and starred Steve Guttenberg, Kirsten Dunst. Oh, why? What? I think I ran across this when we were researching something a while ago, and it just fled my mind for some reason.
And it says much of the film was shot at the actual attraction at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the rest was filmed on a closed stage in Hollywood. Huh.
And the DVD's still available because I just bought it a few years ago so I could watch it with my daughter, which I'm sure she hates me for now, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's a good kids movie. It's a fun movie. It's obviously not Mary Poppins or anything, but it was a fun movie.
Yeah. So this movie is based more on the ride than it is on the Twilight Zone. So we're reading here.
Yeah, I don't really recall any Twilight Zone. I mean, there may have been some references, but I don't really remember any attachments to the Twilight Zone in the movie.
That is funny. Well, let's get back to the ride, the Tower of Terror. Now, during the ride itself, are there any hidden things, any things that we aren't seeing that maybe appear?
Well, I was just I was looking over a note I have here, and you were asking about the hidden Mickeys, and I have a note here that says, in the library room features a hidden nod to Mickey Mouse in the sheet music, which is a song for What? No Mickey Mouse. So there's not an actual hidden Mickey, but there's a hidden reference to Mickey Mouse there. And that's in the library still.
Cool.
So that should interest you, Sarah. That's music.
Definitely. Yeah, and then I heard there's a Mickey Mouse doll.
It's sort of in the ride. So while you're watching the movie and you see the little girl walking around and her nanny grabs her and yanks her and walks her back, she's holding a doll. If you look closely at that doll, it's actually Mickey Mouse.
There's your hidden Mickey, Richard.
Oh, there you go. I feel much better about this.
Yeah, so I thought that one was really interesting when I was doing some reading a few weeks back, and I noticed that, and then when we got to talking about doing this interview, I went back and grabbed that, and I actually double checked it and pulled up a bunch of online photos just to confirm that, and it is actually a Mickey Mouse doll that she's holding, by its arm, and it's dangling, and then she holds it up when she gets yanked.
Wow.
Another interesting fact that this will probably intrigue Richard a little bit is that the storyline of the attraction is set for Halloween, October 31st, 1939.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
So there's another Halloween connection for you.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the bellhops that we see, they're dressed up because they're really room service, dressed up as bellhops.
Oh, I get it. It took me
It took her a second.
2 minutes.
Okay.
3.
Wait, here's the joke over here. Here's the punchline way, way over there.
That's very nice, Richard. Very nice.
While we're talking about the movie too, the one that Rod Serling's in. Do you know the name of the episode that those clips are pulled from that feature Rod Serling?
No.
So the whole theme of the attraction is basically horror, and the lightning strikes, and there's ghosts and all this other stuff. The episode that those clips came out of is called "It's a Good Life." So I guess you'd call that ironic.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. This is one series for some reason I just never got into, but I've always wanted to get into it. So I think knowing all this now, it's really intrigued me to put it on our Netflix list, Sarah.
And now's a good time since it's Halloween.
It's even better.
You mean I've seen some episodes of a show more than you?
Yes.
Because I think I've seen about 3-4 episodes.
If you're really interested, usually one of the, like Sci-Fi or someone usually has like a 24-hour showing somewhere near Halloween.
Oh, there you go.
You mean watch it on cable with commercials? Russ, this is not April Fool's, okay? It's Halloween.
Okay.
Now, will any of these new findings make it into a third book? Even more Seen Unseen Disneyland?
Some of them might. I have them I've added several of them into my potential notes. Some of them obviously don't lend themselves to pictures. Like for instance, anything in the video besides potential copyright issues there, it would be very difficult to take pictures. But if I get the opportunity to take maybe pictures of things on the shelf, and I actually have pictures of the boiler face and some of the other things downstairs in the boiler room, those, they could end up somewhere.
So are you working on a third book?
I actually have not started per se working on it. While I've been taking pictures over the years, I've obviously been taking pictures of California Adventure and been filing those away as potential pictures. I guess you could kind of say, in preparation for the show, since I had to start taking notes and started putting some of this stuff in, I guess you could say it kind of started now. But it's not. It's not a wholehearted effort yet. I'm still, pretty much working on the second book and making sure it finds a happy home and everything right now, and taking a little bit of a break and just enjoying Disneyland. Like the last trip I took, it was kind of nice not carrying the big camera around, just being, have a little camera for, the family shots, but just kind of enjoying it and not having to look around.
Right.
Yeah, I know we talked about this the last time you were on, about a whole spin-off series, since this is at Disney's California Adventure.
Well, my working title right now, which may or may not end up being the title, was going to be something along the lines of Seen Unseen Disneyland California Adventure Edition.
I think the title could be a little bit longer, where you just add "and thanks to Skywalking through Neverland."
You guys probably will get a credit for motivating me to get started.
Richard.
I just want to make sure we're all clear on this. No, well, I don't mean just a credit. I mean like on the cover.
Oh, on the cover? Like put your logo there?
Put our logo, our faces, and just the whole book be about the podcast. Hello, Russell?
We could do a book about your podcast, One of those like the Disney records where they go over each record. We could do like a Skywalking episode guide.
Aw, that'd be cute.
Nice.
Do a digital release.
Oh, possibilities are endless. Millions.
Yeah. Aw.
Millions of what? Now, before we wrap things up, have you found anything else that we should know about?
So another thing that a lot of people don't realize is you get in those cars and they take you up really high and you look out the window and it drops you and you come back up and you get your picture and it drops you a few times. If you've been on the attraction, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I called it a ride, didn't I? It's an attraction.
So when you're dropping, so they use the term dropping, you've probably come off your seat where your seatbelt's kind of holding you down a little bit and you're kind of feeling negative gravity. Well, in reality, that's not possible. If it was dropping, you'd drop the same rate as the car. So what most people don't realize is there's cables both on the top and the bottom of those cars, and they actually pull the car down so that you accelerate faster than gravity to get that zero gravity feeling.
Wow, that's cool. That's trippy.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of fun things like that where they've thought about those things. That's those details that the Imagineers, you think they built this attraction and they built this free fall thing, but they've actually gone the step further where they've got engineers and I don't know, physicists and all those kind of people involved that say, yeah, to get the feel you want, just dropping it's not going to do it. You actually need to accelerate that car. So how are we going to do that? Another interesting thing about the particular attraction was originally they were designing it so that it would take you up to the top floor. And you know how you load into the car and it rolls backwards into the cage that actually takes you up and down?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, they were planning on that to go into the top floor and that thing would roll out and you would actually go on a little track upstairs and then roll back in and then do the drops.
That's what they do at the other
The
Tower
Hollywood
of Terror.
Studios.
Oh, does it roll out?
Yeah.
At the top?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's why I say when you go on that one and then go on ours, you'll realize, oh, I wish we had the one in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours is a little smaller, and although our queue times are supposedly a little faster, they improved on the queues with ours.
Yeah, I think ours had to be earthquake proofed, so they couldn't do the whole that whole thing where it rolls out.
Oh, what's a little earthquake? The building's already in shambles.
Yeah. Well, that just adds to the theming, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no one would ever know the difference.
So then one other thing that is interesting as you're exiting the attraction, you're exiting out of the gift shop. If you look across, that building that's across from it is actually supposed to look like the Hyperion Theater, which of course is the old Walt Disney Studios. That's kind of it's supposed to be a little homage there. And one of the buildings has a light that's supposed to be on, and that's supposed to be Walt's office in a tribute to Walt.
Oh, really?
Wow, it just comes full circle.
Yeah, it does. Now, I recall being there the opening weekend back in May of 2004, and I think I waited in line for about 3 hours.
I bet.
And when I got off the ride, I was still kind of shaken up because I'd never been on a ride that dropped like that. And I know since then they've had rides like at Not Scary Farm that brings you up like
Superman
past the clouds and then drops you. Never again, by the way. But I'd never been on a ride that actually dropped you the way this ride does. And I can recall walking off of that and just feeling very jittery. Like that was supposed to happen, right? So I didn't really understand the whole concept of the ride.
Well, now you know why it was so much stronger than you thought, is because they were actually accelerating you. It wasn't just really a free fall.
Yeah.
Where were you back in 2004 there, Russ? You need to call the Russell Flores hotline. Say, Russ, what just happened to me?
All right, Russell, well, thank you so much for joining us and filling us in on what to look for next time we ride Tower of Terror.
And whetting our appetite for watching The Twilight Zone.
Awesome. All right, well, how can people find you and your books on social media?
Well, I'm, of course, on Facebook as Seen Unseen Disneyland. You can find me on Twitter at Seen Unseen D. I had to shorten it a little bit there. I'm on Instagram as Seen Unseen Disneyland. I'm still kind of new there. Between you and my friend Jeff Heimbuck, both kind of pushing me with Instagram, I started playing around with that a little bit. And then you can find me on my webpage, which is www.sudbooks, SUDBOOKS.com. Or if you want to send me a message, just send me an email at author@sudbooks.com.
Great. All right, Russell. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And happy Halloween!
Thanks, guys.
So now, before we wrap up episode 97 of Skywalking Through Neverland, we want to remind everyone to go to the other podcasts that we go trick-or-treating to, like Muppet Cast and Assembly of Geeks, Window to the Magic, Coffee with Kenobi, and Techno Retro Dads. And once again, you'll find a clue at each one of those podcasts that will enter you to win this big, hefty bag of gifts.
Yes, and then we look forward to seeing you at our Google Hangout Costume Halloween Party on October 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific.
That's Thursday. That would be
Today.
Today or tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this.
Yes, yes.
Or it could have been last week, depending when you're listening to this. But if it isn't the 22nd, please, everyone, come over and join us. Now, you can find more details on our Facebook page.
That too, and on our website, skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
And once again, don't forget to send in your favorite fan moments for our 100th episode. So do it within a minute and send them all to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
And make sure they are memories from your life, not about this podcast, but from your life celebrating your fandom.
Whether it's seeing a movie, watching a TV show that really made an impact, reading a book like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
meeting one of your favorite celebrities.
Reading a part of a book, like when Dumbledore bites the dust.
Oh, spoiler. So please send them in by November the 1st. That would be great. And maybe the 2nd, possibly the 3rd.
Well, let's say the 1st for now.
Okay. But we got to get all these clips and assemble them, so please send them in as soon as you can. Let's just say that.
Yes.
All right, so we want to thank Joe Tavano and Chris Salton from Brews and Blasters, one of my favorite podcasts.
George Shaw, Russell Flores, and our composer Rob Dellinger for all the new music he provides every week. All right, Skywalkers, and we love it when you tweet at us, as always, at SkywalkingPod, and we love it when you support us. So if you head over to skywalkingthroughneverland.com and click on the Support Us tab, you can see different ways to support us, such as going to our TeePublic site and grabbing any shirts there. You can go to fandango.com and purchase your Force Awakens tickets, which we've already had a few bites. Thank you so much for clicking through that link, Skywalkers.
And the more you do this, the more we can send out to the Skywalkers, the more gifts we can get, the more giveaways, and pay for postage.
That's true. Yeah, get more BB-8 buttons.
Right. So, if you want to reach out to us at any time, please email us at share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Also on Facebook, we are skywalkingthroughneverland.com. We are on Instagram, Jedi Tink, and iTunes and Stitcher reviews. You know what? I didn't check them this week, but we love those, and they are greatly appreciated.
And we are almost to the 5,000 mark on Facebook.
That's right.
We need a couple of hundred more.
That's right. Thank you, Skywalkers.
But we need to reach that 5,000 goal, and then we can get into all the big screenings.
That's true, and share them with you.
On Twitter, aren't we almost there?
On Twitter, yes, we're like 10 away.
So by the time this goes out, we should be at that mark.
Yeah, we really should.
But please, like us on Twitter. Is that right? Like us on Twitter?
At SkywalkingPod.
Okay.
Follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like us on Facebook.
Yes.
Now
Likes and follows.
We are a proud member of the Shot Glass Digital Network, where you can hear great shows like the Deucecast Movie Show and Techno Retro Dads and Disney Vault Talk. And if you're looking for an Urco-tastic time, please check out our spin-off show, Talking Apes TV, where Mark Ogashewitz and I are about to uncover the greatest ape mystery of all. Who played the little ape boy?
Very exciting. Also, Fangirls Going Rogue, we've had some pretty exciting episodes lately because my co-hosts and I have been doing really cool things. And also, sometimes because that's a monthly show, we will share our thoughts and opinions on things that happen immediately in the Star Wars world on Fangirl Chat. So actually, it would be fun to go over to iTunes and check out Fangirl Chat, and there's some fun episodes there that we do in between our Fangirls Going Rogue episodes.
So remember to tune in to all those shows, and remember,
Neverland on Alderaan. Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Have you left an iTunes review yet? Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Segment producers are Dave Parfit, Dave Scale, and Norma Heitman. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant, Mark Ogushowitz. Technical advisor, Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators, Donald Wicks and Joey Pittman. Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, copyright 2015. All rights reserved.
Sorry, it had to be said.